So I have the joy of working with Jenny on a UK team that serves ChristCentral churches, part of New Frontiers, around the UK. And so Jenny, I'd love to ask you to start off with, what does our theme, in but not of the world, mean to you?
Well, for me, when I was 18 and became a Christian, the first sermon I went to on a Sunday was Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 to 20, which talked about being very careful how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity. And really, for me, that's been a life verse as I kind of power through life. God has placed me in this time, in this place, and I want to just follow where he leads in this world. But of course, it doesn't end there, that verse. It says, because the days are evil. I think that's it, you know, our citizenship is in heaven. We are here. I believe that we should be working in the community, helping those who are hurting, who are suffering injustice. But it doesn't stop there. We are trying to point them beyond that. And I think, you know, life is tough and the world's in a real state, and sometimes it can feel really heavy and be very difficult being in. But as we lift our eyes, I mean, that was brilliant, wasn't it? Our eyes on heaven, our feet in the dust. You know, that's what we're trying to do, get that balance. And, you know, James tells us our life is but a mist. We never know when it's going to be taken from us. So I guess I try and make a difference the best I can. I think one way we see that is with this, we were recently challenged about leadership and servant leadership, and we've been talking about it again this afternoon. There's a real opportunity to be distinctive in how we lead as Christians. And, you know, we see so many people around us. We're in Westminster, dare I say. We see a lot of people in leadership in this area who are public servants, and yet it just feels like it's about money and power and influence. And we have such an opportunity to show a different way and true servant leadership and seek to follow Jesus the best we can.
Amen, Jenny. And as you've sought the Lord, you've had a fascinating life. Cambridge graduate, overseas missionary, now CEO of 2 charities across the UK. But as a local church leaders conference, tell us a bit about your local church leadership responsibility and some of your more local church wider responsibility.
Yep, so I'm a deacon in my church. We're led by a team of elders and deacons, and we're doing a re-envisioning process at the moment. So I love it, getting involved in the strategy, taking a step back as a church in the suburb of York. We have a great location in our buildings. We do a lot of outreach like food bank, a debt centre, community cafe, great youth ministry. But it's that chance to take a step back and say, what's God got for us? Where should we be focusing our time for such this? And I have responsibility over the small groups in particular, which all feed into that real powerhouse of the church are our life groups who can really pray in and resource some of these ministries. And then within ChristCentral, I guess I'm there to bring my heart for people in poverty, and also we are really working at how we can make more women leaders really flourish in that role.
And so you mentioned there your heart for poverty. I know that's something that lives very deep with you, something you've helped us with. And you're CEO of 2 charities. You were on Songs of Praise at Christmas. I remember seeing you on that. But there's kind of 2 sides of one coin that the 2 charities that you lead, they kind of complement each other really well. Help us understand a bit about the 2 charities you lead and the heart behind them.
Great, so one of them is called Acts 435. You will have a leaflet. In fact, I've got 2, so you maybe have 2, which is even better, in your pack. Acts 435, Acts chapter 4, verse 35, is really taking that idea that in our nation today, there are people who want to help. I want to start there. There are a lot of people who want to help those struggling in UK poverty, and there are a lot of people who are in need. So Acts 435 is a resource, a free resource for churches and charities. As you're doing your other social action work, as you're reaching out to people, you may find there's other needs that your church doesn't have the budget for. Maybe you find someone sleeping in a bed that's broken and they've got a bad back, or maybe you're trying to give them food from the food bank but they haven't actually got a cooker. Lots of different ways that we can step in and help. And what's been amazing with Acts 435 is that it is really cost effective to give. So someone, if they give £50 for John's cooker in London, the whole £50 will go to John for his cooker, and that you'll get a thank you back saying the impact that it has made. In February, we received £91,000 of people going online to give. Now, there are a handful of standing orders, a 5K grant, but the vast majority of that is individual people saying, actually, I want to help this person with his washing machine in Liverpool, or this family with their need in wherever it may be, Bridgend. It works. And I think, it started back in 2009 and people were a bit skeptical, but the reality is I feel like we're able to serve the churches as you do the amazing stuff on the front line. Our church uses it as well, but we're also serving those who want to give and want to help. And of course, it's just a really effective way to show God's love in action.
I mean, when I first came across it, I was like, hang on a sec, as a church leader, this is free. And I can just, if someone says they have a need, I just post it on the website and someone else pays for it. It's just amazing. And it's all done through the gift aid that does all the back office stuff, and it's just through donations. And it's over £1 million turnover per year now?
Yeah, just about. And we raise, well, I should tell you now, so the church puts the need onto our website because you know the story, you know the situation. But at the moment, they're being met in 2 to 3 days on average. So the need is only up for a couple of days. People are meeting it. And actually, at Christmas, we often get them all met. But the Sunday before last, they got all met again. It was like Christmas come very, very early. So it really is, I would say, a no-brainer. You can use it lots. You can use it a little bit. So please, can I encourage you, when you get home, you may be thinking, this would be great for a couple of people who do the social action work if you're not that person. Pick it out of your pack and pop it on their desk and just encourage them to look at our website and get in touch, because we'd love to partner with many more churches. And we're still, given the amount of population there is down here, we are still fairly sparse in London and the South East in particular. So, and obviously I'm here for the whole 2 days, so come and have a chat to me as well.
And the other side of the coin is the Good Business Charter,
yes,
which when you told me about this, I thought it was absolutely fascinating and really having a kind of kingdom impact. Can you let us know a bit about that?
So I see Acts 45 as pulling people out of the river of UK poverty. It's one of those compassion ministries, but of course there's a myriad of reasons why people are falling in the river of UK poverty in the first place. And the Good Business Charter is also the idea of Julian Richer, who is a Christian entrepreneur, heads up Richer Sounds, you may know, very, very famous for good customer service, became a Christian in 2006, absolutely passionate now about leaving a legacy and helping people in need. An incredible guy, an incredible leader. He had this idea that really we need to hold businesses to account for their care for people and planet. And one of the key reasons that people are in work poverty is because they're not paid enough and their hours are not secure. So 0-hour contracts, things like that. So a Good Business Charter has 10 components. They include those two, but also your environmental impact, paying suppliers promptly. That causes huge problems for small businesses. Just really in the world stuff here that we recognise those businesses and other organisations. Your church was our first church, actually, to accredit. But we have big organisations like Aviva who are accredited, loads of small businesses who are saying, no, we're going to hold ourselves to account for this and really just so, we are committed to people and planet. There's a lot of talk about it, but this is about saying across these 10 components, we're going to do this. It was interesting. We were doing a branding exercise about a year ago. And in our team, we all had to think of someone who would be our perfect spokesperson for the Good Business Charter. Someone who clearly speaks the public's language. Someone who really cares about people. Who is approachable but can speak with authority. Can you guess who I chose? So I take you back to the team. Jesus is mine. He'd be a brilliant spokesperson for the Good Business Charter. He speaks clear language. They'd all had their other ones. Like one of my colleagues had the Lorax. Well, not a bad one. But of course, then we had to choose between the 6 and of course, Jesus won hands down. But it was a great way also just to talk in real terms about Jesus, who he was, how he lived on earth. And so my life's a bit of a blend, isn't it, really, of whether I'm trying to help people in poverty with practical things or I'm trying to help female leaders develop in ChristCentral churches or trying to hold businesses to account for people and planet or the local stuff. I just try and follow as God leads and keep looking heavenwards.
Inspiring stuff. Let's give a round of applause for Jenny.